college football fans. Well, here we go. October is here and live in full effect. The high school football season just as we left it last week, as every top 10 high school pretty much took care of business this last week. And, it's kind of league play, right? Well, there we go with that. Shall we say, where's my applause button? I'm sorry if I'm so excited about this, but there's a new number one in town in the 3C2A. That is Riverside Community College. Oh, we're going to get into that one today as we reclaim our number one spot. That's right. Also, the NJCAA has been pretty uneventful the last couple of weeks. Will we be eventful this week? We shall find out. Also, talking Division 3. Another, yet, hopefully getting a little more interesting as we go. But, tournament time is where this and D2 really get into shape. And, of course, FCS. Got some games to talk about in there. And today, in the single A. Oh, man. We got some good NAIA stuff, too. But the single A, man. Today, I think we're going to really try to focus on that the most, man. The Red River rivalry has returned. Oh, we got some good ones today. Arizona and USC. I mean, so we talk about that. And by the way, last week Arizona was on the ropes. Colorado's pretty damn good. Notre Dame and Louisville have the spotlight tonight. For our picks, find out. You and I tune in live to 3 and Outs College Edition right here on iSport Radio. Good referee for all. That is sports. Welcome, college football fans. This is me, your boy Larry B, doing what I do here on a beautiful Saturday morning. It is Saturday, October 7th, 2023. And of course, as always, joined by the man. He is, of course, iSports Radio Hall of Famer, all-around great dude, man, the host of Set Point. I'll tell you right now, he's such a volleyball dude. He's doing his thing, working in every single facet he could possibly do. Homeboy right now is at a tournament, okay? Probably over there on the side of the gym somewhere, still trying to make this show work while he's working over there. So he's the man. Ladies and gentlemen, he's rocking the polo today. He's looking sharp. And what could I say, man? Great dude. Great friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, iSports Radio Hall of Famer, Teran Rodriguez. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Hey, Larry. Thanks for the nice introduction. Ready to talk some college football as always, and nothing is going to stop me from talking college football, no matter what, buddy.
Hey, brother, it's always great to have you here, man. And like I said, today we're going to try to make it a little snippy because I want to make dang sure you get back over there, man. You're a working man. What could I say, brother? You're here, you're there, you're here. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm going to, write to you or text you or whatever, and you're going to be like, yeah, man, I'm on top of Mount Everest right now covering the volleyball, man. Like, what? Yeah, you're everywhere, dude. So I'm loving it, man. So, all right, Taryn. Look, last week, I'm going to give props where props is due. I really am. Prime's Colorado Buffaloes, they're good. They're very good. They found themselves a new star last week, for damn sure. But it's hard to talk about this game and how good Buffalo is, or the Buffaloes are, without talking about how bad USC's defense is. I'm going to sound really, really mean right now, and it's not Raideritis. Trust me, nothing gets as bad as the Raiders. When I talk about the Raiders, that's like a different planet of just me being really mean and angry. But when it comes to USC, I love them. They're great. But Taryn, let's be real, brother. This defense, we're not winning no championships with this defense, right?
Yeah, that's defense is probably going to be the thing that holds USC back in terms of making the college football playoff because, look, I understand that Colorado is improved, but as I said on yesterday's show, you can't give up 41 points to a team like Colorado. When you compare it to when Oregon played Colorado last week, they only gave up 6, and they pretty much blew the doors off of the Buffs. So USC's defense really has to have their get right game because the schedule is really going to pick up. Because after this week, they've got Notre Dame, and then eventually they're going to have Utah following Notre Dame, and then eventually they'll have Washington and Oregon, and then UCLA. And if they can't contain the likes of Arizona State and Colorado, how are they going to fare against actual legitimate teams? Teams in like the top 10 or top 15 or anything of that sort.
No, you're absolutely right, Teran. It's true, brother. We love to hate Notre Dame. We love to, hate all those other teams. But at the end of the day, they're going to beat the crap out of us. I mean, it bums me out because of how good that offense is. Caleb is the man. He's making things happen. Really, man, we got so many great athletes. But I'm telling you, man, it's true. This defense just ruins it all. Like, they really do. This defense is honestly this is a horrible defense. I haven't seen a defense this bad at USC for a while. Yeah. So regardless, man, I just want to. I'm sorry not to start the show on a bad note, but man, 48-41, great game overall. If you're a football fan, if you're a USC fan, there's no way they should have scored 41 points. So yeah, man, I heard yesterday on the SoCal Stream Sports Show, and yeah, man, I'm glad you let USC have it because they needed to get it.
Right.
So, anyway, Terry, we had a couple notables last week, man. They were some fun ones, dude. Oh my gosh, Oregon State actually knocked off Utah. I mean, come on, brother. I mean, were you expecting this?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I don't think Utah still has Cam Rising, and that is a major problem for the Utes. If they don't have Cam Rising, then Utah just is not the same team, and you have to have your star quarterback. And I feel for him because blowing out your ACL is just not fun times. So for Utah, it's kind of not as expected as most people think it is. But for Oregon State, it just shows how much improved that they are because that is a good team, and they really took a big step. And that defense really is so underrated because you remember the previous week, Utah only put up 14 points against UCLA. That defense bailed them out. Utah's defense bailed them out against UCLA.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I don't know, this is kind of weird seeing Utah, not so good right now, but I don't know. Hey, we'll see. I mean, it's not not so good, but lose that game to Oregon State. Regardless, Oregon State came to play, man. That was a hell of a game. Next up, man, I think one of the best games here last week was Kentucky upsetting Florida. That was crazy, 33-14. Kentucky knocks off number 22 Florida. You know what, Aaron? What a good game. What a game. That's an SEC game right there.
Yeah, and I really wanted to pick Kentucky, and we're totally regretting this, but we should have picked Kentucky. But all in all, it was a big win for the Wildcats. And is it time to move on from Florida? And is it time to put Kentucky on the radar? I mean, they're not on the level of Georgia, but I think they are still really good. So they're solid.
Yeah. No, it's true. And it's crazy to think. I mean, Kentucky, man, watch this team come back and start winning like they did last week. I mean, a couple years ago, actually. So, next up, Teran, number 1 has a problem, man. They have an Auburn problem. Auburn fought, man. I like that. I like what Auburn's got going on. This is a hell of a team. They played, and you know what? Yes, they're going to lose. They're going to lose to number 1. But, damn it, they barely lost. They had a very good chance to win this game. Georgia defeats Auburn last week on the road, 27-20. But War Eagle was live in full effect, weren't they?
Yeah, and you never can count out Auburn. They may not be the Auburn as they have been in the past, but I will say this Auburn team is pretty scrappy, and the SEC altogether looks fairly scrappy, and every team is going to want their best shot against the likes of Alabama, against the likes of Georgia, and those teams that I just mentioned, they got to be careful against the little guys, because if they don't play their best game, they could be winding up on the wrong side of the scoreboard.
No, that's for dang sure, and it's crazy to think like that's where we are, man. Like this team right here is pretty good. I love it. we can see anything happen any given week, and I'm glad we're seeing some run for their money action lately. So anyway, Teran, we move on here. A couple more notables. I mean, we all thought last week that the Jayhawks would lose, but my gosh, Texas really wanted to show everybody, like, no, like, don't you be picking nobody over us, especially some basketball school. Number 3 Texas, they knock off number 24 Kansas 40-14. I mean, Teran, was it expected? I mean, last week we all thought it might be a little closer, but I mean, was this like the realistic game we all maybe thought and had in the back of our minds?
Yeah, honestly, Kansas needed to play pretty much perfect football because Texas was really bringing it. And honestly, I think Texas, I really can't believe I'm saying this. They might be back in terms of the SEC, but do we really want to crown them right away? That's going to depend on what happens this week and going forward.
No, that's for sure, man. And Texas looked better. They've been looking better. And tonight, we're going to see. We're going to see. Well, not tonight. In about 2 hours, we're going to see, man. I'm pretty excited for that. This is going to be great. I'm looking forward to today's game for sure with these guys. But so, yeah, very, very, very good game there. And like I said, we had some good games all across the board. I mean, Ole Miss, number 20 Ole Miss will knock off number 13 LSU 55-49. A very high-scoring game. That was pretty cool. That was a very competitive football game there. Mississippi State, man, they gave Alabama a run for a little bit, but then number 12, which is crazy to see Alabama with a 12 by it, just defeated them 40-17. So good job for them. Washington, number 7, Washington will be pushed to their limits, man. Arizona nearly got these guys, which really worries me about SC's game with them tonight. Yes, Teran, I'm actually kind of worried for tonight's game versus the Wildcats, because if they're going to fight number 7 that way, and number 7 actually has a pretty good defense, and USC's defense is looking like a freaking Pop Warner team over here. I mean, they look horrible. So, yeah, I really hope we don't see an upset tonight, and the Wildcats are dancing all over USC and taunting and everything as they should. Just kidding. But yeah, man, that would suck. But anyway, this is a good one. Arizona fights, and they fight hard at home, nearly getting the victory. They would lose 31-24. And then, of course, the big one, Teran, the one that we were, the big one we were all looking forward to last week, Saturday Night Football, number 11 Notre Dame and number 17 Duke. Teran, this was a hell of a game, man. This was a good game. Both these teams fought like hell. It was a good one. Notre Dame was just, this was one of the most craziest games you'll ever see. They scored this thing. They put the rock in the end zone with 31 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, you don't get better than this, man. The 2-point conversion, I mean, it was crazy. It was 14-13, man, and they were down, and they got it. They made it happen. You know what? It was an ugly win, but they did it. And Duke, that's one scrappy team.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game, and surprisingly, Notre Dame didn't fumble the bag at the end of the game like they did last week against Ohio State. But for Notre Dame, I'm glad we chose them because I feel that this was kind of their make or break game, because if they lost this game, they would be out of the category of title contenders. I mean, against Ohio State, they were already out for a good portion of it, but this Duke game would have been the nail in the coffin. But Duke is scrappy. I think Duke is kind of under the radar, flying under the ACC. And fortunately for Duke, this isn't an ACC game, unlike all the other conferences or the other sports and whatnot.
Yeah, man, it's crazy to see it, right? But you gotta love it. I'm happy that Duke is playing competitive football, and you know what? Good for those guys. Man, the cool part about this is to see Notre Dame play. I mean, once again, seeing Notre Dame play this way just worries the ever-living crap out of me about SC. But but yeah, I don't want to sit here in a couple of weeks going, Teran, we have a rough road ahead of us, don't we? We I don't want that. I want to be celebrating and being happy for SC. But anyway, so moving forward into some high school football. Teran, all is well in the land of high school football. Will be the shortest segment I think we've ever done for high school, because I mean, other than some stats being padded here this week, Darren, everybody gets dominated. I mean, that was it. Central got a big victory. Number 10 Central, Miami. St. John Bosco, they took one on the chin a couple weeks ago, but they would easily handle Servite yesterday. Like, easily. They scored 27 on them, but so they got it done. Kahuku, they get themselves a nice little victory. They blow out a team 59-0. North. That's number 8. Number 7 North Shore out of Houston. Well, they're looking all as well over there at 6-0. Duncanville just looking good as well in Texas. Those two Texas powerhouses here. Duncanville number 6 just looking strong now at 5-0 on the year, and Buford now they have jumped to 6-0. Extremely strong team there out of Georgia. The IMG Academy still undefeated at number 4. Chaminade Madonna still undefeated at number 6. Bishop Gorman still undefeated at number 2. And boy, they look good, man. They are 8-0. Just knocked over Shadow Ridge 42-17. And then, of course, number 1. It's going to be hard to knock this team off this year. I'll tell you right now. Gosh damn it, Mater Dei is so good. This team is looking amazing. They absolutely obliterated J. Sarah Catholic last night, 42-0. Next week was supposed to be the big game. The game that we always say is like the precursor, as you say, Darren, to the national championship. Next week, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a dud. It's going to be a good game, but it's definitely not going to have all the hype around it as if they would have been number 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 or whatever. St. John Bosco next week. But anyway, Taryn, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, there wasn't a whole bunch. It was really just kind of very straightforward. All the top 10 teams take those victories, and hey, no upsets. Everyone's looking strong going forward, and there we have it. So, any comments on any of these teams here, Taryn, on the top 10? I mean, top 20? Yeah, top 10.
I think that J. Sarah beating Orange Lutheran last week was on the account that Orange Lutheran was so banged up, because the Orange Lutheran actually got a big win last night against Santa Margarita. So I think for J. Sarah, not to take anything away from them, they obviously battled, but when they ran into a true buzzsaw in Mater Dei, they were no match, unfortunately. And then St. John Bosco obviously doing their thing against Servite and setting up that big showdown for the Trinity League title and possibly the number 1 seed in the CIF Southern Section Division 1 playoffs. That's going to be big next week. So, and then you also got to watch out for the third place team in the possible third place spot in the Trinity League, just because that is crucial right there, because it's a big log jam. You don't know who's really going to finish third. One week it looks like Olu's going to be third, then it's J. Sarah, then it's Servite, then it's Santa Margarita. It's basically an anomaly for third place. So whoever gets that third place spot is automatically going to qualify for the playoffs, and then the other 3 teams in the Trinity League will have to apply as at-larges.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy to even see, man. St. Francis Academy, they're down at 71 right now. The reason why I bring them up is because, well, they've had a very hard season, barely getting their second win of the year at 2-5 now. But once again, this is crazy because St. Francis Academy tumbled from number 6 all the way down, right, Taryn? And now they're at 71. How crazy is it that we're talking about 2 top teams in the state of California and really 2 really good national teams? J. Sarah is currently 73rd in the nation at 4-2, and Orange Lutheran is currently 3-3. They are 75 in the nation. Crazy, right, Darren? Like, crazy to think like how much competition is out there.
Yeah, and Orange Lutheran and J. Sarah have played some stiff competition. The only reason why I think that J. Sarah kind of has the edge is because of that head-to-head. But again, Olu has played some stiff competition. They are banged up, but getting that 28-21 win over Santa Margarita was huge, just because they are still in contention for the third place spot in the Trinity League. And it all depends on where CIF puts them in terms of the playoffs. Do they put them in Division 1, where they can maybe contend until like the quarterfinals? Do they put them in Division 2, where they could be a true contender? It's just basically all dependent on the strength of schedule, and it's a numbers game at that point, following the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty cool, man. Even seeing that, too. Rancho Santa Margarita right now is currently 77. Even our very own Los Alamitos over here, they're 79. So, it's crazy. Even Servite's 82. It's crazy to see all these teams, like kind of that, they're far back, but they're not actually that far back. considering the fact that we have thousands of high schools around the world, around the country. So anyway, Teran. So there we go, man. A little bit of high school football wrap up there. And, well, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Teran, there is a new number one in town, and that is the Riverside City College Tigers. Last week, Teran, RCC did it. They went on over to Mount San Jack in that new beautiful stadium I drive by every day over there off the 215 and beautiful, beautiful stadium. Wasn't to be from Mount San Jack, though, as good old RCC gets that nice victory. I really feel it probably should have been a little worse, but whatever. RCC got it done. And in the same exact day, earlier that day, Teran, San Mateo. Oh, no, they were number one. But College San Mateo, of course, the reigning champs from last year who blew Riverside out in the national championship game. These fools, man, crazy to think, but they would drop one. That was crazy to see. I was not expecting this. It was a very good game, though, and you know what? You got to give these guys props where props is due. Well, both teams, that is. But, yeah, last week seeing this, they would drop one here in a very close game, 30-28. And you know what? Once again, you can't look at these games and say, you know, oh, well, you know, they suck or whatever because they lost one game. It is what it is. You know, San Mateo is still a very, very, very good football team. But just wasn't their day, man. They would lose a tough one here. And what more could you say when you see such a strong team like this go under? Well, hey, man, I guess good job to them. But yeah, man, last week these guys, very, very tough football team. They would lose to, let me see, I forgot who it was. Was it American River, I think, last week? No, Butte. They would lose to Butte 30-28, giving their first victory, first loss of a long time. I think that's the first time San Mateo has lost in a while. But very good game there, man. Butte wins this thing 30-28 on their home turf too. So they would knock off San Mateo. So really, all it took were the stars to align, man. If RCC wins that game, they got the victory, and there they are, man. So what do you think about this? Crazy, right?
Yeah, and honestly, Riverside, thank you for sending me the link to that game, by the way. It really means a lot. Honestly, that was kind of expected. I don't want to say this to be disrespectful of Mount San Jack, but honestly, Riverside was the better team. And after that first quarter, I think Riverside kind of put themselves on cruise control for the most part. But honestly, the game was pretty much decided after that first quarter, if not in the second quarter. And then there were some notable games that happened elsewhere. We saw Santa Ana basically having themselves a solid win over LA Valley, winning 7-3. And this is my facepalm moment of the week in the 3C2A. So we had the Long Beach City versus Cerritos College rivalry. And last year, Cerritos was able to take down Long Beach City, and they had a victory trophy. So like most rivalry matches or rivalry games, there's a victory trophy that's supposed to be won. So this year, Long Beach City beat Cerritos 30-14. Unfortunately for Long Beach City, they did not have the trophy because Cerritos forgot to bring it. So yeah, Long Beach City basically let Cerritos have it, as they said, "Come on, guys, we brought the trophy when you guys won. Be better." And yeah, honestly, when it comes to rivalry games, just bring the freaking trophy, whether you're favored to win or not. Like, that is a big facepalm moment of 3 and Out College Edition.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Because that definitely did happen last week. Yeah, man. Cerritos, that's a fun game. I just can't believe that happened. That's hilarious. Freaking good old Cerritos. They're like, no, we're not bringing that thing. But, well, there it is, man. They're going to have to mail it or something. FedEx. Just kidding. Y'all get in the mail. Forget y'all. Like, that's hilarious, dude. Well, there you have it, man. That is
Then a gift
definitely.
basket as well
Oh
with an
yes,
apology letter.
yeah. Seriously, yeah, with the gift card and a card in there too. I mean, hey, dude, you know what I'm saying? Starbucks, here you go. But yeah, dude. So all right, man.
Yep.
American River gets it done, bro. This game, 3-1 now. They defeat Modesto 45-20. Another good ranked game right there, Taryn. I'll tell you right now. There was a game I sent you last night last weekend after RCC got that victory over Mount St. Jack. Fullerton, they're just doing their thing. What did I tell you in the link? Meanwhile, in Chula Vista, Fullerton,
Meanwhile, on the other side of town,
dude, Fullerton just absolutely obliterated Southwestern 59-7. Fullerton and RCC this year is going to be amazing. I mean, that's good. By the way, Riverside and once again, Riverside defeats San Jacinto 41-17. RCC is now 5-0. Mount St. Jack is now 0-5. And there you have it. So, yeah, Taryn, this is so many great games there, but those are like the big notable ranked on ranks. And though there you have it, dude. I mean, really excited. RCC is now ranked number 1. San Mateo, man, this kind of crazy to see this in the new rankings. Actually, man, San Mateo, they drop all the way to 7. Kind of crazy how far they dropped. But yeah, man, the current top 10 right now, starting from 10-1, we got Elko, man, El Camino, Contra Costa. Golden West is still staying on up there at number 8. College San Mateo has fallen from 1 all the way to 7. American River holding it down at 6. Butte, well, they knocked off number 1, so they're now in the top 5 at number 5. Fullerton at 5-0. They're looking good at number 4. Can't get rid of the Mounties, man. The Mount San Jacinto, they're looking. Mount San Jacinto. Mount Sac, of course. Mount San Antonio at number 3, 5-0. We have City College of San Francisco, of course, 5-0 at number 2, and then Riverside Community College looking strong at the top at number 1. So really, really cool there. And then this week, man, we actually have. Some good ones, really. You know what? Yes, we actually didn't have any games yesterday. So this week, there are actually no, there's not. I'm sorry, there are no good ones. Taryn, there is nothing this week. There is like 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excuse me, 6 games. And apparently Grossmont here, they just put their bye week. I don't know why, but this is basically everyone's bye week. From what it looks like, nothing doing here, and we're gonna get back to action next week. But yeah, Taryn, kind of crazy to go like a little half-season cutoff right here. But how about that, man? How about that craziness last week? And what do you see coming forward into the 3C2A? Dude, we got league now, man. This is it. This is the conference. We got some games next week, man. Riverside and Grossmont. All right, that's gonna be pretty cool. Seeing the Griffins and the Tigers. But oh yeah, that's gonna be a good game right there, man. We're gonna have that. We got Palomar and Fullerton, the blue and gold game. That's just another great game here. I mean, we got games coming up this week or this month, man. The 28th, we see Riverside. Well, Riverside and Saddleback used to be a good game, but anyway, Long Beach and Golden West coming on up. I mean, we got some good ones, man, coming up down the stretch. And I mean, will we see more upsets? I don't know, but halfway through the 3C2A season, Taryn, what do you see so far, and what are you looking forward to?
well, I will just say this. Do not sleep on Saddleback. I think they have come along quite nicely. I want to say they've won like 2, maybe 3 in a row. They got a big win over San Diego Mesa last week, and they're at 3-2. And I don't know, maybe Saddleback can maybe make it a sneaky good game against Riverside. They have some good studs, and their quarterback, Trey Kukuck, is pretty solid. I'm not trying to say that Riverside is going to lose to Saddleback, but I'm just saying Saddleback is kind of on the up and up, and beating San Diego Mesa is no easy feat. Yes, it was at Saddleback, but that's not overly as far as like Golden West is from San Diego Mesa. So keep an eye out on Saddleback, and also keep an eye on Chafee. They managed to win in the Battle of the Unbeatens, winning 31-21 last week against Pasadena City. That was pretty good on the Panthers' part, as Chafee's 5-0, and honestly, I think they could do some damage too.
Absolutely, that's kind of cool to see that, Taryn. It's true. I didn't think about that, and I think personally, we should have some fun games coming down the stretch for sure for this. So over to the NJCAA, and we're gonna, like I said, we're moving kind of fast today. Hopefully, not to get us done here in a little bit. But Taryn, dude, we had some good ones last week, man. We talked about Snow and Georgia Military last week. What a hell of a game that was, man. It went to overtime. Snow would win this thing 33-30. over Georgia Military. Talk about a good game there. But really, Teran, I mean, it was cool. There were some good games, but overall, I mean, number one, Hutchinson just destroys Butler 43-16, as expected, right? We had, I mean, just some of these games were just like, okay, well, we kind of knew it. Snow and Georgia Military was definitely the game to watch. That was the fun one for sure. But Teran, there was really nothing last week, and going into this week, I mean, Dog City and Hutchinson, I mean, that's not major ranked on ranked. I mean, Hutchinson, we're guessing they should win this one by a lot. Tyler and New Mexico Military should be a lot of fun. The Wool Bowl in Roswell, New Mexico, that should be a lot of fun there. Also, Coffeyville and Iowa Central, another notable game today. Iowa Western and Snow. But really, those are all the games that are kind of major there. So we look at the rankings right now, and we just take a look at how strong but some of these teams have been, like Hutchinson, just being an absolute force this year. 5-0, they scored 149 points. I mean, bro, this team looks good. Iowa Western right there at number 2. Teran, I really do feel like we're on a collision course for a repeat from last year, except for hopefully this time Hutchinson doesn't get blown out, 31-0 or whatever it was last year. So, I mean, I'm really not sliding anybody else, Teran, and please stop me if I'm being too much of a, being too much on these two teams here at the top. But honestly, Teran, I don't know. I just don't know that any of these other teams can match up to Hutchinson and Iowa Western. We got a half a season to go. I get it. But when it comes down to it, brother, I really think they're on a collision course. So, I don't know. I mean, number 3 right now, Iowa Central. Number 4, Mississippi Gulf Coast. Number 5, Snow. Tyler's hanging out at number 6. Number 7, Kilgore. Number 8, Trinity Valley. Number 9, Jones College. Number 10, Northwest Mississippi Community College. So, like I said, Dog City hanging out there at number 11. At number 12, Northwest Mississippi Community College. I mean, might as well just finish off the 15. We got East Mississippi at number 13. Butler at number 14. And Lackawanna at number 15. So, overall, Teran, I just kind of feel like the Blue Dragons and the Reavers are going to end up in the championship again.
Yeah, I think that way too. But you also don't sleep on Snow. I think they can maybe, henceforward, maybe make a little bit of a push. You also got Tyler, as you mentioned. They got a big overtime win, which they actually were down 10-0 at halftime, but they managed to, get back in it in the second half and eventually win it when it mattered most. And honestly, I still think we have a little bit of a season, little ways to go, but I would totally agree with you in terms of a Hutchinson Iowa Western rematch. And Iowa Western's got to be careful. They were only up 3 going into the fourth against Independence, but they kind of turned on the gas in that fourth quarter. So Iowa Western, I wouldn't say they're safe, but I think they're still pretty strong for the most part.
Oh, I can see that too. That's crazy. I did not know that about the Independence game. That's pretty crazy. So, all right, Terry. So moving on over to the NAIA Performers of the Week, courtesy of NAIA.org. Such a cool website, and we're really love how to do this. So, NAIA Offensive Player of the Week. We have Lee Kirk from Pikeville, Kentucky. He's quarterback here. And, let's see what he did. So he rewrote the record books last week as his 6 touchdowns tied the school record. Sweet. His stats for completions, attempts, and yards are a new AAC record. Sweet. And was 38 of 58 for 614 freaking yards, Teran. And at 65.5 completion passing rate. That is amazing. For defense here, Ashley Thompson from Peru State out of Nebraska. He's a freshman, man. Defensive back looks like he's a true freshman, so that's pretty cool. Thompson had several total sacks in the 48-31 win over Missouri Valley. Recorded 3 interceptions, 2 of those which were returned for touchdowns, and tallied 77 total interception return yards. Awesome job there. And then special teams, Stephen Linnon out of Dort, out of Iowa, freshman kicker, converted a school record and GPAC record 58-yard field goal as time expired at the end of the first half of Dort's 61-21 victory or win over Hastings. Added 2 more 47-yard field goals in the second half and was 4 for 4 on field goals and 7 for 7 on PAT. That's amazing. He is now 19 for 19 this season, in addition to 11 kickoffs and 7 touchbacks. How about those guys in the NAIA, man, getting down this week?
Yeah, that's some quite impressive stuff. And as I mentioned last week, kickers are people too. And you mentioned kicker. There's actually going to be something that I have to make note of in terms of a notable kicker later on the show. But that's incredible stuff from all those players.
Absolutely, man. And then the NAIA, it was a sleepy week again. We knew that Morningside was going to knock off Doane, and they did, or Doney, I don't know how you pronounce that, but 38-7, Morningside is rolling through, right? As we would figure they would at this point in the season too. Once again, we're in league, and a lot of these are just getting it done. Benedictine had a very tough game as they barely defeated William Penn out of Iowa 10-7. But hey, defense, that's going to happen. Those good, nasty defensive battles are going to happen. So great job for them. We actually had a double overtime game, Teran, where Dakota Wesleyan out of South Dakota defeated Mountain Marty 51-45. Very good football game there. But overall, Teran, there was just nothing really, nothing really. We're at that point. We had the number one team overall just do their thing, 42-21 over Midland in Fremont, Nebraska. They got a nice victory there. And that's pretty much it, Marion racked up a victory, too, over Lawrence Tech, 44-17. Grandview, obliterating Central Methodist, 65-0. I guess as we said for high school, all is well for these top teams right now in the NAIA because they're just going to work and doing their business. Yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
Oh, yeah. I was just pretty much agreeing with you, and we might be getting another collision course in terms of the top two teams, but well, I want to know what's on the docket for this week. If there's anything notable, because it feels like last week we had a bunch of blowouts.
Yeah, last week, Teran, it was just a bunch of cupcakes. They're going to be good games every now and then, with these league games and everything, or conference, whatever you want to call it. But this week, man, we got some okay ones. Let's see, Marion at Madonna. I don't know. That's probably not going to be that good of a game coming on up. But we do see, at least, let me see here, Hastings. Hey, let's see what these guys could do versus Northwestern today in Orange City, Iowa. Number one looks to stay number one and be strong, but we shall see. Concordia out of Nebraska is playing Morningside. That should be pretty fun. I really expect Morningside to get the victory too, but once again, it could be a sleepy good game there as a high top team is hosting. St. Thomas taking on Kaiser. Kaiser, they were in the championship last year. They've seen better seasons. They're not too bad this year, but they've had a couple tough losses. Let's see how that goes. And then Teran, seriously, that's all. That's really it. There's nothing more this week. That's, in my opinion, very good. Southern Oregon at Rocky Mountain looks like a fun game, but that's just because I don't know. Rocky Mountain sounds like a cool name for a school. I don't know, but what I mean, really, Teran, there's nothing really, at least that I would think this week that's very like a very good game in the NAIA.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like there's anything overly notable. Looks like it's probably just that sleepy weekend, as you would call it. So, but maybe Concordia and Morningside is going to be a good matchup. It all depends.
I would like that. I would like to see a good football game like that, but we'll see. Next up, man, going into to Division 3. Last week, Teran, we had some fun stuff. We did. There were for the most part, just a bunch of blowouts. But once again, I just thought that it was pretty cool to see some of these schools, match up like Trinity and Barry. Barry almost got this thing, man. Number 6 Trinity out of Texas. They get the victory, but my goodness, Barry fought at home. Number 25, Barry. 46-37, Trinity gets this thing done. Talk about a good game there. Teran, would you be surprised if I told you that our good old friends at Trine got blown out by 70 again?
Ooh.
Trine would face number 19 Alma, and they put up a 70 burger. It almost looks like the Broncos and Dolphins, man. 70-30.
Alma was inspired by the Dolphins.
Mount Union doing what Mount Union does, just destroying Ohio Northern here, 35-0. I mean, number one in the country, of course, North Central Illinois. They did their work versus Wheaton, number 13 Wheaton, 54-35. So really, last week, Teran, I mean, Aurora, they were also inspired by that Dolphins victory as they put up 70 points of their own over Eureka, number 15 Aurora, that is. So, but there was a good game last week that I thought was very notable to mention. Number 7 St. John's would be tested on the road, man. They escape Augsburg 27-24. Augsburg actually scored 12 points to St. John's 7 in that fourth quarter, dude. Augsburg could have won that thing. Also, we have number 3 Wisconsin Whitewater taking on Wisconsin Oshkosh. Very good game here. Number 3 would prevail on the road, 37-21. But still, I think that game was a little bit closer than we all want to give it credit for. And then, of course, Wisconsin Stout taking on Wisconsin Lacrosse. This was another very close game here. This reminds me a lot of the Palomar Riverside game a couple weeks ago. 45-40, man. This was a little too close for comfort for Lacrosse, but they got it done on the road. And yeah, Linfield was also inspired as they put up 70 on Willamette. So, yeah, Tara, crazy, right? Everyone's been watching their... I guess we have a lot of Dolphins fans out there, I guess. But what do you think?
Yeah, it was there were some good notable matchups. I mean, there were some close matchups, close calls, but there were no upsets. But that's what we like to see. We like to see close matchups and matchups that could come down to the wire. And it's going to test some of these ranked teams.
Exactly, man. And looking into this week, dude, we don't really have anything. I mean, Wheaton will drop a little bit, but they're taking on Elmhurst. Cool. I mean, Carroll taking on North Central Illinois. Okay, cool. I mean, I think we all know how those are going to end up. Oshkosh taking on Stout. That should be a lot of fun. Also, Linfield and Lewis and Clark. But Mary Hardin Baylor, they've seen better seasons. They're taking on Texas Lutheran. Lacrosse and Whitewater, I think, is probably my game of the day. That would be a lot of fun, a battle of those Wisconsin teams. And Mount Union and Heidelberg, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Red Raiders are just going to go to town there, possibly. And there it is, Darren. Nothing to see here this week. It's a lot of last night actually. Johns Hopkins defeats Gettysburg 49-28. But really, Darren, the Division III this week just looks like it's a real reserved, chill week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything that ultimately pops out to me. Other than that Johns Hopkins matchup.
Yeah, nothing too big at all. And we scoot on over now to Division II. And, Sarah, we've seen some pretty cool games this year in Division II. I of course, as fans of Division II, you want to always try to see the games that are like, yeah, that was a good one. But really, Sarah, this has been a lot of the same here as well. There's been some games here and there, but anyway, so let's go ahead and just jump on over there this year. Well, actually, I want to ask you a quick question real quick about Division III, man. So really fast, Mary Hardin Baylor, they've had a tough go around, but don't forget they get the tournament. We can see a clear example here of why the FBS needs to adopt this giant tournament deal, because Mary Hardin Baylor, do you really think they'd be in the college football playoff right now after those losses and everything this year at all in the FBS?
Probably not. Just because the FBS is so critical of every loss and every close result. So I'd say no.
Exactly. But guess what? In Division III, all hope is not lost because they can go right into this thing and win it. You know what I mean? In the tournament. So I guess, I don't know, just one of those things for me that I'm like, ugh, stupid FBS. But anyway, this last past week in Division II, dude, was crazy. Minnesota State, we talked about it last week. Number 5 Minnesota State and BMD State. This was just a tough one. We knew it was going to be a fun one. Minnesota State squeaks this one out, 27-24. Number 5 beats number 7. Oh, on the road. That was the game that we were just like zoned in on. We knew for dang sure it was going to be a fun one, and it was. It absolutely was. Talk about a good one there. Number 2, Colorado School of Mines just does what they do as they defeated Chadron State 35-7. Get a nice little victory there. Number 1, Ferris State has also been watching the Dolphins as they put up 78 points, Darren. That's insane. But they put up 78 points over Northern Michigan. 78-3 here in this game. last week. And yeah, I guess once again, bunch of blowouts, nothing too interesting, and we kind of just see this big gap. I mean, really, I hate to say this, but we're probably going to be talking a lot about these blowouts and everything for the next couple of weeks. Get to the tournaments, and then we're going to start have some fun here getting into these tournaments and all that good stuff. But also, Slippery Rock, number 12 Slippery Rock defeated number 18 IUP 42-21. Another game we talked about last week. But once again, Teran, when we talk about this, it just, once again, another week of these kind of games.
Yeah, I mean that one, the one that you just talked about, the first game between Minnesota State and Bemidji State, that was a barn burner. That was the game of the week, and it lived up to its expectations. I'm just gonna say that right there. Central Missouri did have a little bit of a rough go around against Northwest Missouri, but I feel it's kind of one of those in-state rivalries where anything can happen at that point, and you just gotta throw out the record. So, all in all, those two matchups were what really stuck out to me. And I think Division II has had some good, notable matches this year. So, and even Indianapolis didn't really blow out Missouri S&T. And Emporia State, they fell to Missouri Western. So, I think the Missouri schools are really starting to show their true strength.
And that would be cool to see. This week in Division II, Teran, Delta State, number 6 Delta State takes on number 25 Valdosta State. Valdosta State has clawed their way back into the top 25. Once again, they've hit some rough terrain too, but that should be actually really good today. I would love to see that one. Colorado School of Mines will be taking on Colorado Mesa. Teran. Mesa, of course, was the team to knock off San Diego. This year, I know their team got suspended, but still. Mesa's been winning games, man. I don't know if they're gonna give number 2 School of Mines, a run, but dude, that'd be pretty cool to see it, right? Emporia State, number 17 will be taking on number 3 Pittsburgh State out of Kansas. That should actually be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Hey, West Florida, the Argos will jump up to number 7 this week. Also, let's see here. But yeah, Teran, there's really nothing more here either. Grand Valley versus Kentucky State. We know that's pretty much what's going to happen there. I mean, Grand Valley is a monster. They're number 4. Ferris State, I don't even know where they're playing this week, but they're going to destroy whoever they're playing. I mean, just a lot of I think unevens again, and here we go into the league play, like I said. But regardless, they're playing Saginaw State. Never mind. Saginaw State is actually pretty damn good. This team could pull an upset any given week, so I like this team. Do I think they're going to defeat number 1? No, but oh my gosh, wouldn't it be crazy if they did? So yeah, Teran, I don't really see much here in D2 this week at all.
The Pittsburgh State Emporia State looks pretty appetizing, but I would count on that number 3 team in Pittsburgh State to pulling out the win. But yeah, it looks like it's not really ultimately eye-popping other than that matchup that I just made note of. And it would be cool if Colorado Mesa would pull out the win. But as you mentioned, San Diego did have half their team suspended. So, and I'm hoping maybe Valdosta State gives Delta State a little bit of a run for their money. I think that would be pretty cool. But unfortunately, I just feel that Delta State might be a little bit of a cut above the rest.
Yeah, Teran. I mean, we look at that and we just think, well, okay, well, these are all games that we hope to be really good, but we just low-key kind of know that it probably won't be that good. I mean, it just sucks. I wish we had some better games to talk about here today, but it's all good. So, all right. So today, of course, top 25 looking pretty strong, or top 10, let's just say here, or even really just top 5. Furman, Idaho, Montana State, and South Dakota State. Last week, of course, in the FCS, there were some good ones. There were. I'm so impressed this year with Montana State. They came out of the shadows, man. Montana was just schooling them for a while. They really were. Let's just be real, But it was pretty cool to see that. It's pretty cool to see this team, like the changing here of the guard. I love it. I think it's really cool how this how the Bobcats can come out. It's really cool. Shout out to one of the teachers, man, Mr. Davis. He's a great guy that I work with, and he's a big Montana State guy. He had on a Montana State jersey yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He's a big Bobcats fan. Of course, graduated from up there and everything. And this is they're a good team, man. The Bobcats this year. Do I want them to win a title? Yes. Do I think so? I'm not sure because, as we know, the monsters at the top, North Dakota State, which they haven't been this year. I mean, they've been all right, but South Dakota State, of course, the defending champs, is looking strong, looking good. And we just see how well this team has played. North Dakota State now, they kind of crazy, Teran. Last week, I mean, we can talk about North Dakota State real fast, bro. This was nuts, man. North Dakota State, this team, as dominant as they've been, Teran, for such a long time. You talked about it, man. You said it. You said that South Dakota would be a team to watch out for, and the Coyotes did it, man. They would knock off, and this was in North Dakota State too. I don't know if they call it Bison Stadium. I don't know what it is, but they freaking did it, man. The upset would happen, and golly, man, it was. And this is the craziest part. It was 21-3 at the half, and North Dakota State made it honorable in the second half. It really was, as we like to call it, tale of two halves. But South Dakota just played better football, and they got it done. 24-19, dude. South Dakota earns this thing, man. You called it, bro. Hey, where's the applause button? You called this game.
Well, I do what I can sometimes, and sometimes you just gotta watch out for these little in-area rivalries. I mean, it's not in-state rivalry, but it's kind of those area rivalries, those close neighborly state rivalries. So I think it's a big win for South Dakota, and for North Dakota State, it's a tough one because you mentioned it, that they were down 21-3 at halftime, and then they just clawed their way back, but unfortunately they just fell short.
Which is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Because we see a team that, I mean, my goodness, that was insane. I love these FCS games, man, because, that was awesome to see this. And of course, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, the Jacks and the Bison, okay? But then we can't forget about North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, and we can't forget about South Dakota, the Coyotes. The Coyotes. So, I mean, dude, you're right, those four teams, man, no matter how they mesh up, there's a nasty rivalry. And it's really cool seeing those Dakotas play each other, So, it's really, really neat. So, also last week, dude, we actually saw a pretty nasty upset here in FCS, too, with Holy Cross, man. Harvard, of all gosh dang teams, man, freaking Harvard got the win here as they would knock off Holy Cross 38-28. This would send Holy Cross all the way down to 12. That's crazy. Holy Cross was 4.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, it's another one of those in area / in-state rivalry matches, and even though Harvard hasn't really played the same number of games as Holy Cross, they seem to have a little bit more jib than normal.
Which is crazy to see. I mean, now it's funny because we talk about all these other teams, these other conferences, Teran, and these other sanctioning bodies, and we're like, okay, well, okay, not a good week. Oh, we're in league play, not a good week. But now we talk about I feel like the FCS, it starts out kind of crappy because of all the cupcake games and all that crap with the FBS. But, Darren, it's cool because, dude, we see in the FCS now, we're getting some games. We're getting some fun ones now. And I love it. I love what we're getting. We're getting some very strong teams here and very good games. And, I love it. I mean, last week, we talked about it too. I mean, UC Davis and Cal Poly. We knew that was going to be a good game, and it was. UC Davis defeated Cal Poly 31-13, but it's just really neat to see them. That's not a ranked on ranked or anything, but we see Montana State. We talked about that last week too. We knew they would kind of just handle Portland State, but we thought it'd be a little closer than this. Regardless, Montana State will handle Portland State 38-22, and even Montana jumped up three places this week in the rankings, man, as they would defeat Idaho State 28-20. So really crazy to see it. Really crazy to see that happen. Idaho, man, the Vandals. They, once again, they were an FBS school, about 15 years ago, and now here they are. They're looking good in the FCS. They're currently number 3. They just did away with the Eastern Washington Eagles on their red turf, 40-36. I mean, overall, Taryn, this has been a fun season in the FCS, and I think it's just heating up right now, man.
Absolutely. And going back to that Harvard Holy Cross game, Harvard forced 5 turnovers against Holy Cross, which is crazy. And they had more first downs. Even though Holy Cross dominated the total yards, 468 to 360, Harvard just took care of the ball better. So, and they dominated time of possession, which was key right there. So, yeah, back to your point. Yeah, we've gotten some really good FCS games, and that is just quite incredible right there. We have a lot of good games on the horizon, and soon I'm willing to bet that playoffs are going to be really good as well. And I would not be surprised if we got some upsets here and there.
Oh, I'd love it. That'd be great, man. Last week, actually, Princeton defeated Columbia. What was that? Like 10-7, I think.
10-7.
Yeah. Now we got Princeton this week taking on Brown. At least I think. I'm not sure where's it at, but yeah. But
Isn't it Rhode Island taking on Brown?
Is it Rhode Island taking on Brown? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Princeton. Yes, it is. Princeton taking on Lafayette. So I mean, you got to look at these Ivy League schools too, Columbia and Marist. I mean, it's cool seeing these teams go at it, man. I mean, not saying that Marist is in the is in the Ivy League or Lafayette, but I'm just saying, it's really cool seeing these Ivy League teams too as well play. But this week, man, we have. I mean, this is kind of crazy, Teran, but Virginia, the Cavaliers have seen better days. That's an FBS school today. William and Mary, who is just one of the better teams in the FCS, man. William and Mary, they dropped to number 5. Or they dropped 5 spots to number 9 this past week after a loss. But dude, they're a 4-1 team. They're taking on Virginia. Is it safe to say that William and Mary could actually give Virginia a really good game and possibly even pull off an upset today in this game? Or am I just being crazy?
Sorry, my screen was kind of stuck there. But yeah, I mean, we could be seeing Virginia getting upset, quote unquote, but yeah, we might want to keep an eye on that one. Time will tell.
No, that's for dang sure. So, I mean, once again, it's a lot of some fun games here. North Dakota State looks to rebound here over Missouri State today. Let's see if they can do that. Murray State will head on over to South Dakota. Well, let me tell you right now, they're red hot, so Murray State better bring their A game because South Dakota is really, really feeling good after that victory over North Dakota State last week. For sure. But yeah, Taryn, we got some good ones this week. Last week, I think that was the fun one. Montana and UC Davis should be a lot of fun. Idaho and Cal Poly. Can the Broncos do something versus these Vandals? I don't know. But, get some good stuff. Also, by the way, yesterday, Harvard defeated Cornell 41-23. That's an actual Ivy League matchup there. So yeah, Taryn, anything you see this week that you like in the FCS? Oh, we lost Taryn again. But, I think sorry about that, brother. Muted. My bad.
Sorry. It's a good thing I was muted because I was having a brain fart at that moment. Maybe NC Central and Elon, because NC Central's only loss was to UCLA. So maybe that can be a good little matchup right there. Maybe Murray State and South Dakota. But overall, I think that's kind of my notables. West Carolina, Chattanooga. That could be a notable matchup right there. So maybe South Dakota State, Illinois State. Those are just my little notables right there.
Dude, those are going to be some fun games. Those are going to be some fun ones. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing these teams play and get down, man. But, Mr. Teran, I did want to say this. I know you're busy, and I know you're over there doing your thing. I definitely want to get in our quick picks.
Oh, yeah.
Before we're out of here, for sure. But, yesterday, I couldn't help it. It was too tempting for me, and I was super duper excited. I tried to get everybody. I really did. I tried to get another, but it's okay. Because I got one. And I'm bringing on an Oklahoma Sooner fan in a few minutes. So, should be pretty fun. But, Of course, we'll be talking about that in a few minutes here. But Teran, quick picks for today, man. Let's go ahead and go and get through them because, well, we got plenty to go through today. And like I said, of course, would love for you to stay, but I'm just saying, if you got to bounce in a few minutes, that's okay. But Teran,
It's all good.
we have ourselves some good ones today, man. Of course, we are talking about. Let me go ahead and get on over there real quick. So we are talking number 23 LSU taking on number 21 Missouri. LSU favored by 5.5. Teran, who you taking?
Sorry, say that again. LSU versus Missouri.
Number 23 LSU taking on number 21 Missouri. Missouri
That is so
favored by
tough
5
to
points.
pick.
That's a tough one there.
I'm picking the Tigers.
Are you
I'm
taking
just kidding.
Which
They're
Tigers?
both known as the. Yeah, exactly. That was the pun.
It's cold.
I'll take LSU. Don't disappoint me, LSU.
I'll tell you right now, LSU has seen better days. They sure have. Maybe they should call Coach O. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So anyway, next up here, we have number 20 Kentucky taking on number 1 Georgia. Georgia favored by 14 points. But dude, it's so hard to not want to take Kentucky after last week. Am I right?
Oh yeah, you're right. And
you
as
think?
much as I really want to pick Kentucky, I just think Georgia has a little bit more in the tank with that defense. But do not count out Kentucky by any means. I think that team is kind of on the rise.
Absolutely, man. We have our horrible USC Trojans taking on a Wildcats defense Wildcats offense who's probably going to put up way more points than they should on this disgusting piece of crap defense. However, number 9 USC is looking to win by 21 points here, it says. I honestly don't think they're going to win by that much. Hopefully they can win this game after last week. But what do you think, Teran?
I'm taking USC just because, well, they're SC and they've got Caleb Williams. But keep an eye on Tateroa McMillan of Arizona. That dude is the real deal as a sophomore receiver.
Absolutely, brother. And then, of course, the game of the week tonight on ABC. This is the fun one as always, right? The primetime game. Number 10, Notre Dame at 5-1, taking on number 25, Louisville at 5-0. Louisville hasn't looked this good since, who was that quarterback who played there a couple years ago, Teran? What was his name again?
It was something Jackson.
Something Jackson. He's just dominating and wearing purple and black right now somewhere playing for this Ravens team. Regardless, yeah, this is the first time they've looked this good in a while, man. Louisville looks good. They're coming into this game hot. They're hosting Notre Dame. Damn near lost to Duke last week. Is this the week they fall, Teran, to another team? Does Louisville get this thing done on the road? Does Louisville get this thing done at home, or does Notre Dame squeak out one on the road? They are favored by 6.5 points. What do you think?
Well, I think this is kind of Louisville's first big test. So I got to pick Notre Dame again. But here's the thing. Notre Dame really can't keep going down the wire with these iffy teams. I mean, Duke wasn't really iffy, but I'm just going to say this. If they go down the wire with Louisville, something's wrong with that team. And to everyone that has a Notre Dame fan, you may want to check on them.
Yeah, dude. I think so as well, man. We got some good ones coming up today. We really do. We got some good ones. Any upsets you may see?
Well, outside of LSU, Missouri, surprisingly, Alabama's only favored by 2 points over A&M.
I would love to see Texas A&M beat Alabama.
I mean, Jimbo Fisher always seems to make a huge deal of trying to beat Alabama and trying to take down Nick Saban. Maybe Washington State and UCLA, because UCLA is actually favored, and Washington State, they've looked really good, but UCLA, they might have a shot. My thing is that the Bruins are just a year or two away just because they're so young, and they looked very flat. Well, their offense did against a Utah team missing its star quarterback.
Which is crazy, man. So Well, with that said, Teran, that was the game of the week, but we actually have one more game to cover, and golly, I'm telling you, if this isn't really the game of the week, I mean, it's a Midwest/South deal in the United States. Two teams that hate each other so far back, it's amazing. You have legendary players like the Boz, in this thing, or Vince Young. I mean, we have seen some nasty versions of this game in the past in the Cotton Bowl, and well, here it is, man. The Red River Rivalry has renamed itself because Showdown sounded absolutely stupid. So Red River Rivalry, the 3 R's, is back, and I'm really happy about that. I don't know how they're naming this thing differently. But Teran, we are going to welcome here 2 guests today. I'm really happy. One of them, of course, the GM of IE Sports Radio, and the other one, well, he's a dude that I'm trying to get on the airwaves way, way, way more, of course. And that, of course, is her fiance, the one and only Fred. Glad to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Angela and Fred. How you guys doing this morning?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today?
Real good, brother. How you doing, man?
Good, man. It's good, man. I appreciate your invite, man.
Hey, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Gotta have you on the show today, man, because, well, I was trying to get a Longhorn, but all the Longhorns were busy for some reason. I don't know if that's an indication of anything. But I gotta tell you, brother, tonight, well, I got Teran throwing the horns down.
Please.
Oh, my goodness. Well, here we go, man. We got just about an hour. Actually, we're under an hour now. Number 12, Oklahoma, who has had just a season. Last year, they had a season to forget. This year, they're having a season to remember. They're 5-0. They're looking good. And wouldn't you know it, it's just absolutely fitting the 5-0 Longhorns going head-to-head. This is going to be a hell of a game. Gabriel right now, 118 for 157. He has 1,500, almost, he's closing in on 1,600 yards. 15 touchdowns on the year. He's throwing 2 picks, but it's okay. Ewers, this dude, man, 97 for 147. Sorry, he is at 1,305, 58 yards. That is 10 touchdowns on the year, 1 pick. I mean, this is going to be a fight. I mean, both teams don't have. I don't know. There's everything to gain and everything to lose in this game, because if you really think about it, we look at this and go, okay, the FBS with the way it is, one loss can ruin everything. This game could seriously put Oklahoma in major college football playoff contention. Talk to us, man. Fred, the floor is yours, brother. How about this Red River rivalry today, man? What do you think? What do you like? What are you looking at? I mean, what do you think?
I'm excited. This is something I always look for every year. Last year wasn't so good for us. They pretty much shut us out.
They did shut you out.
They did shut us out. That's a correction from my fiance, which is true. But going into the game, I like the 5-0. Texas, they're doing what they're doing. OU has been dominant in pretty much every game they played so far. Speaking of Dylan Gabriel, he's a superstar. Just on the stats and even just his performances alone, the times of watching him, I'm seeing good passing, good decision making, good scrambling. Defense is looking really good. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a factor playing against Texas. I think that they need to stay with it, kind of tighten up on it more. Just my personal opinion. And I think while it is going to be a fight, it's going to be a real fight. I think they can close it out if they just keep playing their game.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. You're right. Gabriel's playing at a very good level. Marcus Major, he only has about 200 yards in the season.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say today they're going to hand the rock a little bit more today to have them do some of that dirty work, getting them tough ground and pound yards, or do you think they're just going to continue with the air game?
Honestly, I hope they do. I hope they give him the rock more. But I think that their air game is going to be what they're going to have to be as a go-to. You know what I'm saying? If they really want to win this game.
Because of Texas's defense.
Yeah, and their defense is sharp. It's really sharp. So we got to fight on our hands.
But I mean, if you look at it, look at the receivers that you have for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's receivers and Dylan Gabriel have just connected.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's very few games that he's had where it's been more than like 10, 15 drops or, incompletions per the entire game. Granted, they haven't really had a fight. They haven't really, I'm not to be funny, but Oklahoma hasn't really played a
top tier team like today.
They haven't had a fight. Exactly, except for maybe last week versus Iowa State. Or Iowa.
I mean, that was more of a 30-point game. I think the closest I'd seen was the SMU game. Yeah. When it was 28. You know what I'm saying?
That was like a defensive battle.
Right. It was like, okay, who's gonna shut the person down more? Right. In this one, you can't afford to make any mistakes in this one at all. You know what I mean? And they have to make sure that they're at their A game on point. Definitely keep that passing going. The running's been decent. But again, I'm not going to count my opponent out. I know Texas, and I know how hard they play.
See, and the thing is, Texas they've been putting up big numbers when it comes on offense. Oklahoma's defense hadn't given up more than 17 points, and that was week 2, except for last week when they gave up 20 points.
They did.
On defense. So for them to be able to hold every opponent to 20 points and under, but then you have Texas that comes in and has had 30-plus points per game. Right. It's like now, obviously, there has to be some sort of adjustments that had to be made on defense, or is there an adjustment that has to be made on defense because of how great OU's defense has been playing?
Yeah.
That's the one question the big question that I was looking at was,
are they going to be able to hold them?
Can they continue to hold them under
at least 20 points?
At least.
If they can do that, they may be able to edge it out. Obviously, I'm going for OU for the win, but again, this is going to be a tough game.
I'm excited, man. Y'all hype me up. Y'all hype me up so much for this damn game, man.
I love it.
I feel like, look, man, if you want to win this game, man, you got to get the ball in Anthony's hands. Andrew Anthony is the guy. I think he's a damn good athlete. I think honestly this year this game I think he's really going to go off, man. 22 receptions on the year. 387 yards so far. He's got 1 TD, but I feel like he's going to be the X factor today, man. They got to find a way to get this guy the ball. He's in my opinion, he's underrated. He's a great athlete, and I'm looking forward to it. So Teran, man, any quick analysis on this one before we're out of here, brother?
If Oklahoma can run the ball effectively, I think they may have a good shot at winning. And I kind of agree. I think if Oklahoma gets pressure on Texas's quarterback all game long, I think they can honestly take down Texas just because everyone can say that offense is going to win this one. But I think it may come down to defense. I think it's going to come down to the last play and who makes that big stop. And honestly, as the old saying goes, offense fills the stands, but defense wins the championship. So in this case, the rivalry. So Oklahoma's got to step up if they want to get this dub against their rival.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cotton Bowl is bumping. It's starting to fill up. I can see it. It's looking good. We are under 45 minutes to go from kickoff. We have had some of the most notable games in college football with this rivalry alone. And what an amazing game that we've got to see every single year for so many years now. It has just been a gem to watch every year, and this is something that we all love. Last year, Texas, of course, took Oklahoma around the woodshed, 49-0, which was crazy. These teams first met in 1900. There's been 118 total meetings. This is 119 today. Texas leads the overall series, 63-50-5. However, the largest victory would be Oklahoma back in 2003, 65-13. So amazing, man. The longest streak here, we've had Texas go, and then right now the current win streak, we got Texas with this one game here.
Yep.
Let's see how it goes today. So what do you guys? Of course, we got Fred over here in the house. You know damn well he's got them Boomers Sooner. Oklahoma Sooners going today, man. I know you're excited for this one, brother. I know you are.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Not to mention back in 2000 when OU went undefeated the whole season.
That's right. That was amazing.
And they came out and became national champions that year. So, yeah, they have the tools. I'll just put it simply. They have the tools. Just tighten that defense up real good, like Terrence said, put pressure on that quarterback, get that run game going sharp. Yeah, I can see us edging it out.
It should look good. I mean, yeah. Angela, anything more to add for this one?
Well, I will say, going back to Terrence's part about getting to the quarterback, the Texas quarterback has been sacked 9 times this far this season. OU has sacked quarterbacks 9 times this season. So, do we want to do some apples to apples here?
Also, Billy Gabriel, I believe he's only been sacked once so far.
Yeah, it's some small number that he's been sacked.
Yeah, so their offensive line is really doing
4 sacks.
Their job.
4 sacks, but only 2 interceptions so far this season.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So
awesome. I love this. And of course, well, we know what they're taking. Teran, who are you taking for this game, brother? This is the last game we're covering of the day. Like I said, we got the game of the week. That's Notre Dame in Louisville because, of course, the time, because of the network, because of whatever. But in my opinion, this is the real game of the week. So, Teran, what you got, brother? Who you got for this one, man?
And also, Notre Dame is a fixture on NBC, so
yeah, we can't forget about that. But
I've got company. Got to be cool here.
Teran's got
anyway,
over there.
Wait, hold on.
So I'll tell you right now, you guys, Oklahoma has made its presence this year felt. There's no way this team hasn't pushed to be
all right, I'm good.
Number 12 spot. So I'll tell you right now, this is going to be so much fun to watch today. Teran, who you picking, brother?
You know what? I'm going bold, and I'm going to say Oklahoma wins.
Well, looks like we're going OU across the board because I'm going Boomer Sooner in this one. This game is going to be too good. Texas is just due for that game. I don't know. Oklahoma doesn't forget. They're like an elephant, man. They remember last year. It was a crap year. Oklahoma's back. They've rebuilt. They've had this date circled for months. And I'll tell you right now, I know that this is going to be a fight. We're going to have ourselves a good one, and that is that. So with that said, y'all, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Oh, it was a lot of fun. Fred, Angela, we appreciate you guys so very much. Where can these diehards find y'all?
Absolutely.
You can find me on Twitter at AZCardsPrincess. This one right here, my lovely fiance is on Twitter but doesn't use Twitter, so I run the Twitter household. Trust me, I still Boomer Sooner on my ECU page, so have no fear.
You want to get in contact with me? Get in contact with her. We can set something.
That's what I did yesterday, man. I had to get Fred on the show, man. You're the man. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys. Have a great one. Take care. Enjoy the game. Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner.
All right, guys.
All right, Teran. Where can the diehards find you, brother?
You can find me on Twitter at Teran Rodriguez 1 or X. That's where I post my main content. Might see a little volleyball here and there today.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. We've got the track rolling, man. We're out of here. You can find my boy, man, Sports Radio Hall of Famer, Teran Rodriguez, of course. There, singing here platforms. He's doing his thing, working on Saturdays, working on Sundays. Teran, that's all he does. He's like Paul Marlowe in that commercial, never not working, all right? So, I'm just saying, this is me, your boy Larry B. You can find me, of course, at the CHB_B53. X, find Sports Radio all over the freaking place at Sports Radio, social media all over the place. Follow the show at 3 and Out CEIE on X. And you can also check out our Planet Jerky, delicious Planet Jerky. Delicious Planet Jerky.net. Yes, Planet Jerky and football and Sports Radio. So, with that said, you guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Damn it, out and it was a lot of fun. And well, we look forward to being back next week with so much more. Who will get the upsets? Who will have a claim to fame this week? We will find out. Let's see it. October is here, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's go. Football, y'all. That's what we do. Thank you very much. Your boy Larry B. Rodriguez. here signing off. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.
Peace.